know, I am in full-time Christian service and I fundraise. So these videos are a series of things that I learned throughout the fundraising process and being in ministry. So this don't judge a book by its cover idea, I'm going to show you two lessons. The first is when it comes to fundraising, who will donate and who will not. You might be shocked to learn that the people that you think would be the most generous donors sometimes aren't. And sometimes the people who, like the widow in the Bible, will give more than you think they could afford to give. I could tell you that there's people that I would not have thought would have been, um, I would have thought would have been completely generous donors, had the money to fund the entire ministry. And in one case, somebody said that they would just want to be involved in prayer with our ministry. And that was when we first got started in fundraising. I really was expecting that person to be one of our people that really anchored our ministry financially. And hearing that really caused me to kind of, I guess, more embrace the idea that the people who you think will fund you might not fund you, and some people that you don't even know or that you don't think have the money to be part of the ministry financially will be. And another time I can think of where I went out to lunch with somebody and he was bragging about how quickly he had become a millionaire, and he was the richest one in the class, and he took me to this restaurant and he bought everything, and I asked him if he would consider supporting us financially on a monthly basis. And he pulled out a $100 bill and gave it to me and said, "Call me in a few weeks." And I called him and he said, "Look, I'm not going to give you any more money, man. I gave you some money." And I understand that the $100 bill was generous, and I was thankful for it. But at the same time, this person put out an impression like he just had so much money and he was just so braggadocious about it. Um, and so I learned in who's going to fund you financially and who's not, to don't judge a book by its cover. Another lesson where I learned that down here on the mission field was there was a guy living on our street. We live in Costa Rica, kind of outside of the city on a street where there's a good mix of some very, very, very high style, rich type neighborhoods with a lot of expats, but there's also houses that are primarily available for coffee workers that come in from Nicaragua during coffee season and everything in between. And there was a guy on the street, and I to this day I don't even know his name. My kids called him Abraham Lincoln because he had Abraham Lincoln beard. And I guess he always got in trouble a lot, and he would spend time in jail, and he would get in fights on the street a lot. He drank, had a drinking problem. So I did know those things about him. And one time I was down at the market, and a lot of people will always, they'll see me, a gringo, and they assume I have money, and they'll ask for money or they'll ask me to buy them things. And this guy was hassling me, and he was telling me, buy me some beer, buy me some alcohol. And I said, no, no, look, our ministry is not a ministry. Hey, how you doing? Hola, todo bien. Our ministry is not a ministry of feeding people. Our ministry is to pastors, missionaries, and Christian leaders. And I was very clear to him that we were on support, and I was not going to buy him alcohol. And then I left the store, and he had picked up a big stick, and he was leaning against the door of my car. And he said, "You need to give me some money, man." And he was kind of like putting that stick, like hitting his hand with it. And Abraham Lincoln showed up, the guy that um, he doesn't speak any English, but he showed up and he just looked at that guy and he said, "This is a man of God. You leave him alone." And he just pushed him right out of the way of the car. And then he looked at me and he said, "I'm really sorry that that guy was hassling you. And God bless you, brother." And that just touched me because I wouldn't have thought that that guy would have saved me, or that guy would have done anything nice for me, because he had asked me for money in the past, and I explained to him that that wasn't our ministry, that there were ministries that were for that. But that day, I probably wouldn't have said I thought Abraham Lincoln would be the one who came to my aid. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.